as I said off the top, you just can't create this. You wouldn't be able to make this up on your own. Truth is always better than fiction. I'm biased, but I do believe that, and the Brooklyn Nets have backed me up with that, and Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, no longer seeking a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. Vinnie Goodwill of Yahoo, no longer seeking a trade, and the language in the statement was, we're going to continue our partnership. They can continue our partnership. Oh, is that right? So Durant in April said, hey, Steve Nash deserves to keep his job. A couple of months after that, he wants out. A few weeks after that, he wants Joe Tsai to pick between him and Marks and Nash. And now, here we are, late August, almost September, and Kevin Durant doesn't want to be traded. What do you make of this entertaining franchise known as the Brooklyn Nets?
You said he doesn't want to be traded. I think he was told that he wasn't going to be traded. And with training camp being a little over a month away, he wasn't going to go nuclear and not show up. Like, there's only a few players who will act a plum fool when they get there or just not show up to get what they want. Kevin Durant loves basketball too much for that. And you're right. This is one of those epic sort of 6-week things, because it's only been about 6 weeks. And I quibble with you on one thing, Michael Holley. I don't honestly think that he wanted Sean Marks and Steve Nash fired. Not really. He just wanted to let them know how far he was willing to go to get up out of there. He tried to put every big spade on the table at every turn to let them know that he means business. You know, I got a funny story. I was in Chicago once. This is one of those Vinny anecdotes. I was in Chicago once.
Bring it on.
Visiting. And I was there for a Pistons-Bulls game. And one of my closest friends from high school and college, he lived like far out in the city. And he was like, yeah, we're going to hang out after the game. You know, I'm gonna drive down to the city and we just going to hang out after the game. So I get back to my hotel. I'm like, yo, you coming? Where you at? He calls me from his driveway. And he says, you know, my wife doesn't think it's okay for me to go hang out so late tonight. You know what I mean? Like, she just doesn't think it's very smart. But he's in his driveway in his car. So I'm like, okay, so what are you doing outside?
Right.
And he says, he cuts the car on, he revs the engine, and he says, I'm letting her know that I really mean business.
But you in the car. But you still in the car.
He was in the car, threatening to leave.
You ain't going nowhere.
Not going anywhere. So after we got off the phone, he went in the house and he went about his life. And while that was happening, I guarantee you his wife was looking at him saying, go ahead and throw that temper tantrum. You'll be back.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you'll be back. Now listen.
That was Joe Tsai. You'll be back.
Okay, Joe Tsai, he could say you'll be back only because maybe, and you tell me, maybe he kind of muddied the field, so it was impossible to trade Kevin Durant. Like, for example, okay, if we really want to do business, you know, Vinny, you're reasonable, I'm reasonable. If you have something, if we have a deal to make, we can make a deal. The two of us, in our right state of mind, we can make a deal. But if you're saying, hey, what do you want for Kevin Durant? And the person on the other end of the line is saying, well, I want 6 first-round picks and I want your top 3 players. And you know, like, of course Joe Tsai knows he's going to be back if he's instructed his front office, if he did do that, to make it really, really difficult to trade him. Did that happen?
Well, I think you can connect the dots and see that. For one, Joe Tsai wants that building full. He does not want to go through one of those rebuilds where, even though he said, I'd rather have a team that plays hard and everything else, once you have a little bit of distance from that, you want the building full. You want to be the guy walking around New York that is the owner of the Brooklyn Nets. Even if the Brooklyn Nets don't mean a damn thing relative to the New York Knicks, you still want to be the rich guy that owns a team in the building that everybody wants to be at. That's the place to be, right? So, yeah, it looked like a very unserious negotiation from the Brooklyn Nets standpoint. it looked like a very unserious negotiation from other teams' standpoint. You're not willing to give up your second best player. You're looking to just throw some fodder in there for a player who's entering year one of a 4-year deal, which means if you have some level of franchise competence, he's going to be there for a significant period of time, or a significant period of time by NBA, by the NBA calendar, which, basically you only operate in 2-year intervals. But other teams could look at it and say, you know what, Kevin Durant, if you were going to leave with 4 years left, why would you not leave with 3 years left? Why would you not leave with 2 years left? But I'll tell you the biggest point of insult for me, Kevin Durant, at worst, is maybe the third best player walking in the world, right. Maybe the third best player at worst.
Right.
And you mean to tell me that other teams were not willing to give up everything possible for, at worst, the third best player in the world? I think those other franchises were crazy. Like, if you're telling me, I call me crazy, but I think that they were crazy. Call me crazy.
No, I can't call you crazy, because I kind of want to call you crazy, but then I just look at it. I go back and forth on it. On one hand, you look at those numbers from Kevin Durant. I mean, and 38% from three-point range, he's capable of more than that. He can give you 40, 41, but no problem. So those numbers are great. But he is 34. He will be 34 next month. Mm-hmm. He has played about 90 games in the last 3 seasons. He missed some time last year as well. He's had some serious injuries too, like last year's injury, like a big deal, and then obviously the Achilles. So if you're a certain kind of team, what are you doing? Yeah, you're getting the second, at worst, as you say, third best player, and you can make an argument for the top spot. Yeah, you're getting that player, but how long are you getting him? What's the position of your team after you've given up so much to acquire Kevin Durant? Are you in the same position as a lot of these contenders with a small c, not a capital C, because you're missing a couple of elements because you gave it all up to get Kevin Durant? So, I mean, I don't know.
No. You're missing it wrong. Here's what the crazy thing about the NBA is. The NBA moves faster, probably than even the NFL at this point. Like the NBA, to me, rebuilding teams operate in 3-year intervals. NBA contenders operate in 2-year intervals. Remember what we thought about Golden State 2 years ago? We thought they were done. We didn't think that Steph could lead a team to a title. Look at where they are now. They're the champs.
Guilty.
Exactly. Milwaukee. We didn't think Milwaukee was going to be able to put it all the way together with Giannis as a leading man. And if not for Chris Middleton's, injury right before the start of the second round, they put Boston out, and they're playing in June. I'm sorry to hurt Boston Celtics fans or Boston people, but
I want to hear
there's no excuse. But what I'm saying is, but my larger point is that 2-year intervals, everything changes. The NBA world moves so much faster now. Like, there's no 6 or 7 year rebuilds. There's no 6 or 7 year windows of contending. You worry about today, and you worry about tomorrow, and next week will come when next week comes. So why worry about Kevin Durant 3 or 4 years from now when A, he has the type of game that will age well, and B, you can talk all this stuff about the injuries that you want to. He came back from a Jones fracture in 2015 looking better than the MVP player he was before. He came back from the Achilles rupture looking every bit like the MVP player that he was before then. So you mean to tell me that an MCL injury on a player who's not overly reliant on athleticism, on a great shooter, and on the greatest non-system player in the history of the game is going to have problems aging?
Hey, I don't care.
Y'all are tripping.
Please, somewhere close to Brooklyn, I bet you there's a member of the Last Poets, that poem, time is passing and running. Look, time waits for no one, not even Kevin Durant. So that Jones fracture, what year was that? It was probably, what,
2015. Yep.
Okay.
And we don't even remember that happened.
But he was 27. He was in his prime. And he's still playing at a high level, but 27, as you'll find out, you probably have found out, there's a big difference between 27 and 34. So, that's great. He was able to overcome that, but I'm not counting on it. And okay, so let's say it's 2-year window. I buy that. if you're Boston, you would have traded Jaylen Brown and whoever, Marcus Smart, and some first-round picks to bring in Kevin Durant? You would have done that? You traded 24, 25-year-old Jaylen Brown?
Otherwise? Are you winning otherwise? Is the question.
Did they lose?
That is the
sure.
That is the question.
Did they lose because they lost because they didn't have Kevin Durant last year? Or did they lose because they lost? You watched it. You saw it up close. Why'd they lose the championship?
Because they weren't the better team.
Composure?
No, they lost it because they weren't the better team.
They weren't the better team.
And they weren't the better team in the Eastern Conference last year. They were a Jimmy Butler put some more legs on this three away from getting knocked out in the conference finals.
I can't deal with this.
They were a Chris Middleton injury away from being knocked out in the second round. They got to the finals. I'm not taking it away from them. But what I'm saying is, when you spin it forward, you have to look at things soberly and not emotionally and say, can the circumstances that aided us getting to where we got to in the NBA Finals still hold true next year if all things are created equal? And I will say no. So how about we remove the variance? How about we go get the baddest man alive and say, meet me in June? I like playing in June. I like consistently playing in June. I don't want to take the chance of not playing in June. So if I got the chance to go get Kevin Durant for the next 2 years, I'm going to do it.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, so if you're feeling that, okay. Now, since you've already you've gone hard in on you bought in on Kevin Durant. Since that's the case, then you can only answer this question one way. You think the Brooklyn Nets are the favorite with Kevin Durant? Are they the favorites to win the East next year? Because you got the best player. You already like Kevin Durant. I know you like Kyrie as a player. So you got Kevin, you got Kyrie, you got Ben Simmons in theory. All right, so are they the favorites to come out of the East?
No, because there's questions surrounding things besides Kevin Durant. The Kevin Durant saga obscured all these other issues that the Brooklyn Nets had yet to answer to this point. He almost gave them a little bit of a pass. As much as this was chaotic and frenetic and everything else, we didn't ask the question about, is Steve Nash the real right guy to lead a championship team? Or Sean Marks, not if he's the right guy for the job, but did he do the requisite things to build a championship team? Because when I look at that roster, I looked at LaMarcus Aldridge, and before that was Paul Millsap and Blake Griffin. They lacked a lot of things in the front court that a team like the Boston Celtics, they don't have that problem. They have Time Lord, they have youth, they have wings, they have size, they have athleticism. All of those things that the Brooklyn Nets don't have because they have star power. And star power, can't obscure everything. There's a certain franchise stability that the Celtics have, that the Bucks have, that the Heat have, that the Philadelphia 76ers are trying to have, that I'm not sure the Brooklyn Nets have. Now, you can also say in the same breath, Kevin Durant, you played a huge part in whatever this culture is or is not. Absolutely right. But guess what? I know sometimes when people tear up a house, and you know what they do? They don't fix it up. They up and leave.
So tell me this. I didn't expect you to say that. I didn't expect you to say that. Which franchise will regret it most? In your scenario, hey, how could you let the baddest man on the planet just sit out there for a long time? Will it be Miami? Will it be Phoenix? Because those two were on the list. He name-checked them. Which franchise will say, what the hell were we thinking? We had Kevin Durant, we had a chance to get him, and we turned it down.
Well, I think Miami wanted it, but because of the machinations of the salary cap and the rookie scale extensions, you couldn't have Bam Adebayo and Ben Simmons on the same team. You couldn't have two guys on Rose rookie extensions on the same roster. You can't draft them or trade for them. That's the sort of one of those tricky things. So I think Miami was willing to do whatever was necessary, but the CBA messed that up. Phoenix, that might be the one that when it's all said and done, depending on how DeAndre Ayton in that situation works out, and mind you, I'm a DeAndre Ayton fan. I think he might be like the third best center in basketball. But when you look at where Phoenix was, and if you're willing to write off that Phoenix suffered an aberration in the second round. They just got caught at the wrong time by the right team, and they just ran out of gas. Can you realistically see them running it back, winning 64 games again, with Chris Paul being a year older, the league trying to catch up a little bit, and having the same circumstances that helped you? I don't know if that's going to be the case. And I do believe in Monty Williams as a coach. I do believe in Devin Booker. But if I'm Phoenix, I definitely, especially while DeAndre Ayton was out here trying to figure things out and you weren't willing to pay him initially, I would have been exploring every nook and cranny to get Kevin Durant in my build.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, Vinny. First of all, for just dropping it like you did today. But I'm proud of you because I thought you were about to go into a Chris Paul rant, a Chris Paul takedown along the way. I thought that was coming because, that just kind of rolls off the tongue for you. But
no, he's a generational point guard. He's a generational point guard.
Yeah, he's a generational point guard. ... There's a postscript.
Nothing else there. Generational point guard. He's getting older, but he's a generational point guard, all time. No denying that. Twice, no slander, no shade.
Did I hear you say twice the point guard that Isaiah Thomas ever was? Did I hear you say that? Is that what you?
It's too early. No? It's too early. It's too early. It's too early for your nonsense, Michael Holley. You will not drag me into this rabbit hole. You're not doing that. You're not doing that.
I missed you, man. I missed you. I just missed talking to you.
I know that's the only reason you're doing this. Is you only trying to get under my skin because you miss me. Story of my life. I get it.
Hey, I love you, Vinny. Thank you, man.
Love you too, bro.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely,
man. Thanks for taking the time. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.